You ready?
So we are in for a treat today. Talk about just another phenomenal couple this time. So we're very, very proud to be sitting with the Sernas here. And Mr. Serna, I'm actually going to start with you. What is the business name that we're sitting in right now?
Today we're going to be discussing Avansa Insurance and Financial Services.
Mr. Serna, tell us something about the business then, if that's the case.
What we do here is change people's lives. And I think at the end of the day, when this message is going to be out for everyone to know who we are, we treat our clients like their family. And not only do we treat them like family, we help them change their lives by putting them in the products that they're supposed to have and be accountable for all the decisions we make for them. We started just as health, and we both were agents with United Healthcare. And as the agency progressed and we started bringing more agents into the agency, we decided to become a full financial firm. So not only do we take people's health, we do group insurance, individual Medicare, we do small groups. We're contracted with 17 carriers. We're almost in 50 states, and we represent more than 3,500 clients here in Central Florida.
And well, I tell you, Mr. Serna, it seemed like you have a pretty good, solid business going here now. So how long have you guys been in business?
We've been in business for over 25 years. So combined, we have more than 50 years because, Alina's been with me for 25 years as well. So we got to combine all of that. And we're very blessed to also have about 30 agents that work with us here in the local area. We do everything from auto, we do life, we do boat, plane, train, you name it. We're a full financial firm. And the reason why we transitioned to that is to be able to assist our clients in every way possible for them.
So now, because everyone just can't be a business owner. And did you come from a family of business owners? Did you grow up as a kid being a business owner and just saw it all the time? Is that something that you decided to do when you were young?
No, we came from a very blue-collar family. When my grandparents brought us here from Cuba, my grandfather worked at the school board. He was responsible for maintenance at all the schools. My grandmother rolled cigars in Ybor City, and that was the background of Ybor City, where I grew up in some tough streets, and we had to have thick skin and we had to look out for each other. But at the end of the day, it kind of set the tone for me because I always wanted to give more to my family, and I was going to do everything possible. When we got married, I told my wife, you will never have to worry about anything. I'm going to take care of everything for you. As long as you trust me, we're going to do some great things together. And I told her the moment I met her, I said, you know what? We're going to have some beautiful kids, right? Remember I told you that?
Wait a minute, now did you just say something about some beautiful kids? Hold on. so now what was, wait, let's go to that. Just for 1 second. So you met someone and you said, hey, we're going to have some beautiful kids. Wow, I need to hear about that.
So we were at a function at the Cuban Civic Club in Tampa, and Alina was sitting literally across from me, and I was shooting rubber bands at people, pow, 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 just messing with people. And I went to shoot a rubber band at Alina, and she literally sat there and looked at me, and she's like, no. It was like a lightning bolt went through my body. I went, pow! I was like, this is the woman I want to marry for the rest of my life. So I walked over to her. I'm a quick thinker. So I walked over to her and I said, hey, hi, my name's Alain. And what's your name? She goes, Alina. And immediately I'm like, wait a minute, how you spell that? She goes, Alina. I'm like, girl, we are meant to be. And she's like, what? And she's looking at me kind of funky. I go, I took out my wallet and I busted out my driver's license and I go, look, my name's Alain, Alain. We're meant to be, girl. Come on, let's go get married.
So let me get this right. So you see a young lady and you're popping rubber bands. I did not expect this interview to go this way. Hold on. So you was popping rubber bands and you see a young lady, she say, not today, not popping me with no rubber band. And then you go over, you all realize names are very similar. Wait, I gotta ask, how old were you when you did this here?
She was so beautiful, I was just taken back. And I was like, We didn't even discuss. I don't even think we discussed the age, did we? I don't think we even asked each other, because really, like, I wanted to get to know her. It was just like, oh, it's just an instant attraction. Like, hey, I want you to, I want to be your boyfriend, nothing like that. I wanted to get who she was. And the next thing I asked her, I go, hey, would you like to get something to eat with me? And there was a little deli thing there at the Cuban Civic Club. So I said, hey, they got some crinkle fries. You want to share a crinkle fry with me? And a Coke. That's all I got to what I mean, if you're good with that. She's like, yeah, let's do it.
Man, so I got to cut you off right there, man. Oh my God. Wait a minute. So first, I think that the system is, first, for all young guys out there, go get you some rubber bands. Okay, you gotta go to a place, get to popping, and see who don't want you to pop rubber bands. Curly fries is next. All right, so man, number one, amazing story, man. Just never would have thought that in a million years. Oh my God. So he was popping rubber bands at you, really? And so how was? Wait. Now he didn't physically pop the. So what was going through your mind when you saw this guy with some rubber bands? What was that like?
Well, I have to admit, I thought he was pretty cute, but I definitely didn't want to get hurt by a rubber band. So I just remember going, no, no, no. And after that, I guess the rest is history.
And I asked her what her age was, and she's like 14. I was like, it's like the record player just go, "Arr!" I was like, what? You're 14? I said, girl, you don't look 14. And I was technically, I was 16 going on 17. So I was only a couple of years, but I was like, well, I was like, I have my apprehension, because I'm like, oh my goodness, she's a little bit too young, but she was so mature. And the way she carried herself, and she just dropped dead gorgeous. I was like, I gotta at least stay friends with her. And the reality of it was, we were best friends, because back in the day, our parents didn't allow us to date.
So but what was going like 3 months? So here it is. Obviously, then he thought he was kind of cute. Talk with him. He shared his curly fries with you, so that's always something that just shows a whole lot of great things. But what did you end up like telling your parents or anything from that happened, or did you just like keep it from them?
No, I kept it from them because my dad was super strict.
Okay, so what I'm going to pivot to now is, so now when you were, because I don't know what gave you that type of boldness, but do you say, is that the same type of boldness that maybe led you into saying, I want to own and run my own business as well?
Absolutely so, because I was determined, no matter what, that me and her were going to be together. And I used to tell her, me and you are going to get married, we're going to have beautiful kids, I'm going to make you the most happiest wife on the planet.
Man, wow, number one, it sounds like an amazing journey that you have. I can't wait to get into all of it. But I want to go all the way back. So when you were a kid and growing up.
Well, we came from Cuba, just my mom and I. And I was born in June of '68, and I came to the United States with my mom in December of '68. So there was challenges, because, being a single mom, grandparents trying to make it happen, it was just the four of us. And it was tough. I'll tell you, it was tough. We had to go through a lot of hardships, a lot of barriers we had to break down to be successful. And I always used to see my parents' work ethic. My grandfather and my grandmother, they worked tirelessly to be able to provide for us. And they set the tone for me and the model to one day when I have my family, that I was going to be the one that supports and does everything. And a lot of it is my grandfather. And I thank my grandparents for the teachings that they gave me. It was super difficult back in the day because, integration was going on. It was just started. And that was a thing back then because, we were Hispanic, and everything back then was, black and white. There was nothing in the middle. So those were some challenges that we had to overcome because people wanted to, right? They wanted to group us in. Either you're going to be this side or that side. So we kept ourselves to who we are. We worked really hard. My parents, I went to Pierce. I went to Lato, some of the toughest schools in the county, and I remember the hallways being so chaotic. I couldn't even get to class because of the fights, and they were constantly fighting. Police were being sent to our school to stop the riots. I mean, total chaos. And through all of that, we were able to overcome, graduate, and go into the U.S. military.
Right. So of course, then, I mean, obviously, first of all, I'm going to say, thank you for your service. That's just a huge part. But so of course, now then you've went through those things. Obviously, I know what it's like in this service. You have to get discipline in there as well. So you're a very disciplined individual.
We were pen pals and best friends because during high school, I was in the military. I was serving in the U.S. Navy, and I stayed in touch with her. How's this going on? How's school? And then she decided to start dating some guy. And I'm like, what? I said, you're dating some guy? Oh man, I can't believe you're dating some guy. So every time I was on leave, I would come over and tell her, hey, I'm gonna be on leave. I'm gonna come see you. And I would come in my uniform, and she was working at the shoe shop. And I was like, hey, come on, let's go grab some dinner. Or let's go catch a movie. And she's like, no, we can't go because, Kevin's gonna come pick me up. And I'm like, I'm not a jealous guy. I'll take you both out. I'll pay for Kevin's meals. Don't worry about that. Just tell him we're best friends. I'll pay for your stuff. She's like, you can't do that. And I'm like, come on, girl. No, he's getting ready to pick me up now. We can't do that.
Man, so what was that? So number one, I mean, obviously, so you got Kevin. So what was really going on with that? So here he is. You got this guy that you're just filling in time with because the other one's off in the Navy. So, so what was, I mean, how did you keep Kevin at bay?
Well, I think that, since Alan was far away and sometimes I wouldn't hear from him for months when he was out to sea, I just moved on with life. I was in high school and I had met him and we were, good friends, and we just, would hang out and do fun things, go to teen clubs back then. And when Alan would come to Tampa to visit me, I always kind of tried to hide him per se so that I wouldn't get caught. But he would just realize that my heart was more with Alan than anything else. So things just kind of, we ended up breaking up. He went to college. Then I found he had another girl. So it kind of all took effect at the same time, that it gave me I guess you want to say the go-ahead, that I didn't feel guilty that I was breaking up with him for somebody else. And then Alan and I started dating, and the rest is history.
I used to tell her all the time that I'm not jealous. I'm not a jealous guy. Oh, I'm a very jealous guy. Because whatever I set my mind, and this is how you have to approach life. When you want something, you have to see yourself do it. And that's what it was. And that was one of the things that drove me into this business, is that I didn't know anything about insurance when we started. Nothing. I was a truck driver. I had 3 jobs, okay? 3 jobs to support my family. And that's how it all started.
So you done beat out Kevin. You've won the lady of your dreams now. So, I mean, let me just ask you. I'm going to get both you guys' version of it. But so obviously you proposed to her. She must have said yes. What was that like, the proposal? What was that like for you?
Well, it was everything to me. But there's a twist to the story. So at the time, we were going to college, both her and I, and, just doing our thing, whatever. Well, one thing led to another, you know what I mean? And my wife got pregnant. So we went to Mom and we said, Mom, we want to get married. And she's like, no. She said, I already told you, I need you guys to finish college, all of that. I go, Mom, listen, you don't understand. I said, look, Alina's pregnant. I want to be responsible, do the right thing. We got married, and here we are, married 35 years together, known each other for almost 40 years, and that'll be here in July. And we raised 4 daughters together, right?
So I mean, were you like the big hopeless romantic or something? I mean, what was the proposal like when you proposed to your queen? I mean, what was that like?
But I actually proposed to my wife in the driveway at my grandparents' house. I think it was rush hour. Remember, because we were on a main road, and, and we looked at each other, and she's like, "Yes," and I was beside myself. I couldn't even believe that she would take me, and it's just, I'm very blessed and very fortunate to have her.
Oh man, that sounds pretty awesome. So now tell me about this here proposal action there. So
Oh
so
my
what in the
goodness.
world? So he's telling me about it, but what's your take on that?
Oh my God, I was so excited because here I am, 18, I think I was 18, 19 years old, and the boy of my dreams gave me a ring, and it wasn't about how big the diamond was, it was just about us being in love and us being together. I didn't care that he proposed to me in his grandparents' driveway on a busy road. I never even thought of that twice. I was just so excited and so happy that he had actually proposed to me and that all my dreams that I had envisioned were coming true.
So it sounds like for all the fellas out there, okay, so crinkle fries, okay, if there's a Kevin, you just got to be earnest. And also it does not matter the size of that diamond, the ring or anything, just as long as there's love, even if you're proposing to someone on a busy street, the love is what really matters. So that's awesome.
That's right.
Hey, so now then, you all got married, things are rocking and rolling, saved up all of that $200 for that beautiful ring. Sounds like real extravagant things going on, but you just had the love and hey, you knew what you wanted to do. So you worked hard,
Yes.
had the $5 an hour job, started picking up other jobs.
Yes.
I heard already that you work multiple jobs, just want to provide for your family. And now what happened while you were, working multiple jobs, doing things? Did anything happen to maybe have you where you couldn't work those jobs anymore?
Well, I got sick. I got sick with pneumonia, and I was out pretty much between a month almost. I was out for more than a month, and we didn't have, we survived on these checks. And Alina was carrying the weight of the family while I was getting back on my feet, and it was not easy. And I lost my job in the process, so I started doing all little, small kind of things. I mean, from selling hot dogs out of a hot dog cart. We bought some vending machines. We put vending machines. We were cleaning offices, and then we bought a laundromat on 50th Street, and we did that for a little bit. So we were doing laundry, we were doing office cleaning, and then we started a business called Clearway Cleaning. Remember, Mama? The Clearway Cleaning service, where at one time we were doing floors in the hospital. We had farm stores that we were doing work at, remember? Doing all the floors and all the cleaning, and we had a crew out there at night. But I hated it. I hated it because I couldn't be with my girls. And my life and everything is my family, my girls.
Now, apparently, obviously that love had to get tested over time with him working multiple jobs and doing things. Now, what was your take when he had, hot dog stands and working multiple jobs? How did you feel when he was having multiple jobs, like having all this time away from the family? What was that like for you?
Well, I actually used to help him with the hot dog vending company, with the vending machines, with all his endeavors. We had a cleaning company. I mean, you name it, we've done all of it. And I was always there by his side, being his partner and helper. So I would go with him and his uncle to clean offices at 10, 11 o'clock at night. We did whatever we had to do to support the family, and we did it together.
So here it is. So you got this guy now that's obviously hard worker, doing everything that's for you, anything he can to provide. And okay, I just gotta ask, why in the world did you just believe in this crazy man that kept coming up with these wild ideas about we're gonna do this? What is it that made you say, okay, and not just okay, but say, I'm gonna do it with you? What in the world made you stick with that?
I honestly think that maybe I was a little naive at the time, because I remember my mom and my sisters always saying, how come Alan can't keep a job? How come he's always changing jobs? And I always told them, well, because he's looking for a better opportunity. We were young, we got married, we had a baby right away. So we had to make ends meet. And the only way we could do that was to just keep striving for better opportunities. So I know what his drive, I knew what his vision was, and I was supportive of it. So I didn't criticize him. It would upset me when people would ask me, because I figured, can't you see what we're trying to do? We're trying to be better and create more opportunity for our family and for the future kids that we wanted to have.
Man, so different odd jobs, different. It seemed like you had that entrepreneur like spirit just rising up in you. That whole thing was just clicked. So what led you to your current business? I mean, how'd you get into this one?
How I got into this business, I was actually making a delivery, and there was a guy there at the desk and stuff. He goes, man, I've been seeing you working for a while, and you're a hustler, and you're outgoing, and you could talk to anybody. I want to help you out, and I want you to get an insurance license. I want you to come work for me at least a month. And I was like, man, I can't do that. And he's like, why? Because I already have 3 jobs. And he's like, what? He goes, you have 3 jobs? And you said, how many daughters you got? You got 4 daughters? The reason I did what I did is so I can have time for my family. Because one of the things that he came to me about changing my life is that I'm going to be able to spend time with my family. I'm going to be able to take my daughters to school. I'm going to be able to see them grow up. And that was everything to me. And I worked those 3 jobs studying. I would be studying after my little time that I had for myself or to rest. I would continue and I would study, and I passed my exam working 3 jobs. So anyone that tells me that they can't do something is because they don't want to do it.
Man, so now all of a sudden you got the license. I mean, it was very hard for you to get in, and apparently, wow, and then right after that, you started up your company, and you were super successful, happily ever after, everything went perfect, right?
No, it wasn't like that. So when I first started, I was doing door-to-door selling auxiliary products, and Alina's friend that worked with her, she said, hey, they need a Hispanic agent to work at United Healthcare. So I walked up, and I remember having the interview with them, and they were talking to me, and they're like, well, what can you bring to the table? And I told them, I said, well, just to give you an idea, I worked 3 jobs to study for my license, and here I am, and I need this opportunity because they told me that, this could change my life and change my family's life. So I want the opportunity. And I speak 2 languages, and I could sell almost anything, you know what I mean? And they go, okay, well, we're gonna put you to the test. And this is what they did to me. All right, they gave me a stack of applications here, a list of people's names and phone numbers and addresses, and they go, here you go, dude, do your job. No training, no nothing. I didn't even know how to turn on a computer, right? I had to have my wife send the emails on my behalf because I couldn't even do an email. But they know how to turn on a computer. But guess what? I came back that month with 60 applications. 60. And then the next month, I brought back another set of 60. One time I brought back 120. So the supervision called me in. And they go, Alain, I was at my desk working my pages and all my stuff. And they go, Alan, come on in, we need to have a discussion. Sure. And they sat me there and they were like, okay, we're having a problem. And I was like, what problem? Am I doing the apps wrong or what's going on? They go, no. They said, how did you get these applications? And I'm like, what do you mean how I got these applications? They say, yeah, there's no way that you have written all these applications in this time frame. I'm like, what? And they go, yeah. And I go, that's my signature. I'm the one that did all that work. And they're like, are you sure you're not working with a group of people? And I'm like, no, those are my, I got mad. And they're like, no, relax. So they were like, how did you get those applications? I said, listen, I called every single one of them up. I told them I'm going to be there at this time. I showed up. I told them, hey, I'm here for United Healthcare. This is my family. I have my 4 kids and my wife in my wallet. And I said, I have to do the right thing because I got to provide for my family. And the guys were like, well, we want to tell you something, okay? Did you know that you single-handedly wrote more business than the entire sales team combined? And you're out producing them. And I told him, I said, I'm still working the newspaper, remember? I was working, he goes, well, no, this is not possible. So you mean to tell me you were writing 60 apps a month, right? And working a part-time job at night? I go, yeah, I can't see the seniors at night. So I had to do my job and I did it. And that point they hired me on the spot, salary, commissions, remember? Right on the spot. And I was beside myself. I was like, I finally am getting ready to start my business and my career, and this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
And talk about a success story right there, man. That sounds pretty doggone good. So you ended up having those things happen, and so, you know, one of the top producers, it seems like, and like, did they just continue on forever? I mean, did anything change?
Well, 6 years I was vested at United Healthcare, and they had to let go of every single agent that was in the country. And I was the one that was cut loose. So I went from being in the top of the producers nationwide, being recognized, you know, nationally, to losing my job overnight. And they hated it because, you know, they wanted me to stay in the company, and they couldn't do it. They had to let me go. And I'll be honest with you, I was lost. I was lost because I had finally found my niche. I finally found my passion to start my business and do everything that was going. And then it was just literally like the rug was swept under my feet. And if it wouldn't be for all the support that Alina gave me the entire time, the sacrifices that she had to make, because when I was out in the field, Alina was doing underwriting work for an insurance company, working full time, raising 4 daughters, handling, taking them to school, leaving lunch to come home to take one to pick them up, right? None of this would have been possible if it wouldn't have been for the support and the sacrifices and the hard work that Alina gave us.
Wow. So of course then, you know, what was going through your mind when all of a sudden he finally had that click that happened? So, you know, he got really good with that insurance. And what happened to you? What was that emotion like for you when they shut all of that down and said that's it and got rid of everyone? And those 2-3 months, what was that like for you? What did you go through?
Well, it was very scary because we had moved from Tampa to Lakeland for that opportunity. And here we were 2 years in, and we had sold our home. We had 4 daughters. They were in elementary and junior high. And then now he has no job. I was already working as an independent agent, but I was a 1099. So I did not have a steady income. I did not have health insurance. With his medical issues that he had, we had to have health insurance. So it was a very scary time for us.
Wow. So now all of a sudden then, you know, everything basically had to switch up for you. So what happened with you guys? Like, what did you have to do at that moment?
Well, we had to pivot. I mean, at that moment, we had to change everything that we were doing. And, you know, they gave me a broker agreement. I was so broken. 3 months, maybe 4 months. They immediately called me and they said, Alain, you haven't signed your agreement yet. I was so hurt and so broken by it. That was my life. I was able to provide for my family. I could be with my family, and I got to start all over again. and figure this thing out. I don't know. I don't know if I really want to do this. What brought me back wasn't the money. It wasn't anything. What brought me back, a client called me. They said, Al, I got this problem with United Healthcare. And I said, listen, I would love to help you, but I can't because I got fired. And they're like, what? I go, yeah, they laid us all off. And he was like, well, what am I going to do now? You're my advisor. I mean, I come to you for everything. And that individual brought me back. And I signed my broker agreement. And from there, from the ground up, I started this agency with nothing, grassroots, marketing, no money. Because we went without a paycheck for 13 months. And we had to live on our savings and the 401k that I had with United Healthcare, right? But we made it. We waited 13 months for I got my first check. How many people you know can go 13 months without a paycheck, waiting for that paycheck to come up? And we started the business from nothing. We found our location. We got back at it. I mean, my family and I, we managed over 3,500 lives here in Central Florida. And we did it one by one, and treating people like they're our family and being accountable for the products that we give our clients.
Wow, man, that's very hard.
It's very tough.
Very, very tough, very hard to hear. But, and I can hear the passion that you all have, and just always ask anyone that goes through things like this, what is it that made you just not give up? Why didn't you guys just say, you know what, maybe this own a business, run a business, entrepreneur, maybe this just ain't for us. Maybe we should just go get a 9 to 5 somewhere. What made you just keep pushing for it? Why didn't you guys do that? Why didn't you do that?
We had ambitions and we had goals that we wanted to achieve, and we had already been through so much diversity, being married so young. I remember at the end of the week, after we paid all our bills, we had no furniture. We had $6 in our checking account. I actually still have those checkbooks just to remind me of, what we had. And there was no way that him losing his job, we were going to quit at this point. It just made us stronger. And that's when we decided that we had to start our own business, that we could not have someone or a company dictate to us what we could make, when we could come to work, if we had a job the next day. And I think that was the pivotal moment that inspired us to be entrepreneurs and to do something better. We had already had our experience with our other small businesses that we had been through. So I think this was kind of like the stepping stone and the reason why we weren't going to quit and we were going to keep on going.
Right. So yeah, just real quick, now, once everything is rocking and rolling and going nice and smooth, seems like the business is starting to grow. I mean, clients are coming in. Now you're really living that American dream. Was everything just rosy along the way, or did any other bumps come up?
No, unfortunately, obviously many people suffered when COVID hit, and Alain got very, very sick and almost died. He was in the hospital for 2 full weeks. I actually got 2 calls while he was in there that he was not going to make it through the night, and I could not be with him. I was home. The doctor called me and he wanted to give me the heads up that he probably would not live to see the morning, and it was horrible. It was horrible. So for months we were closed. Somehow, some way he persevered. He did not allow them to put him on a ventilator, and God was good. And we recuperated from that, but it took about 2 years, I think it was, for him to get his health back. Once we opened the office again, he was actually coming here with an oxygen tank, and until he could, recuperate his lungs and his breathing. and get back to normal. So it was a rough 2 years.
Oh man, wow. So for him to be sitting up like that, and doctors telling you he may not make it, what did that do to you and the girls? What was that like for you all?
Well, I was broken. I didn't want, I felt like, how am I going to live without I always look at him as my rock. And I could not imagine myself being without him. But being the strength that I had inside, I told myself, I have to move forward. I have to keep doing, this is what he would want me to do. And I had to, pick up wherever he had left off, and I could not quit. I was not a quitter, and I was not going to allow myself to quit. And luckily, he started getting a little bit better. That next morning, I didn't even sleep that night when I got the call from him, and he still didn't look good, but he was still there. That moment, I prayed and I prayed, and I think God intervened and just kept us going.
Oh man, so number one, obviously this man's a fighter. So we've heard that from him from the beginning, from him, fighting for everything when he was a kid, for fighting for you and winning your heart, and then fighting at jobs and going to, so we know he's a fighter. So that fight in him, and of course God's strength and you all's strength and prayers is what kept him going. So it looks like all of a sudden he's back up and rolling again. So now did everything, so once everything's rolling, what happened then? Did everything just get back on track, and then what happened?
We did start getting everything back on track. Actually, after he got out of the hospital, one of our dreams was to buy a home on the beach, and we figured you only live once, and we took the plunge and did that. And probably we were enjoying life, and then next thing you know, he was not feeling well. Asked, I wasn't here yet at the office, and he asked my daughter to take him to the urgent care. And I get the phone call that he's having a heart attack, that he was getting admitted. And again, my world just exploded again. I couldn't believe that we were here again with another medical issue. But, we had great physicians, and they acted quickly, and everything, worked out. They did some medical procedures on him, and he went through physical therapy and was able to fight and get his strength back, and we were back at it again.
Oh my God, man, it just seems like every single time something good happens, another hurdle and another hurdle, and you just keep pressing through every single time and just being the rock right next to him. So now, obviously the heart attack, now that's over with. So did anything else happen, or was that just it? Was it smooth after that?
Oh no, you know how life is. Actually, at the end of that year, was in 2024, we had Hurricane Alain and Hurricane Milton that hit in our area and completely destroyed our second home, our dream home. So to go over there, when they were able to open the island, and we were able to walk to the property and just see it completely destroyed. I think we had about 5 feet of garbage against the house. Everything on the outside. Couldn't hardly even walk in. We walk in, and there's still water inside the house. The water came up to about 5 or 6 feet, and it's a one-story home, so everything was destroyed. And we just looked at each other,
and we just all
and
down.
I don't even want to think about it, but we just cried, because all our dreams, our happy place was completely destroyed. Think, what else, God? What else do we have to go through. And, yes, something materialistic, but, going through a natural disaster, it's you see it on TV, but to actually be reliving it and living that, it's horrible. It's horrible.
So I always have to tail back and just ask the question, why? After the loss, after all those things, why didn't you just give up? What made you stick next to this young man, and what made that actually happen where you didn't give up?
Well, I think because of all that we had gone through when we first got married, having those $6 in our checking account, we're not going to allow a sickness, a natural disaster to stop us. I still have a lot of hopes and dreams that we have not accomplished, and I am not going to let anything stop us. And that's just something that I have in my heart, and I just, right?
Being relentless.
Being relentless, and I have some goals that I still want to achieve, and I'm not going to let anything stop me.
Look at that, just being relentless. So, okay, let's just lighten it up a little bit. We've been talking about a whole lot of difficult things, so I'm going to lighten it up. People often say, wow, you actually work with your spouse? What in a world? So for you, I'm going to ask you, how in a world are you able to actually work with your husband? You're not like, oh God, I'd kill him if I work with him. Or so how are you able to actually work with your spouse?
No, I actually, someone had asked me that a couple of years ago, and I honestly had to kind of sit back and say, well, what do you mean? How can I work with my husband? I love my husband. Why would I not work with him? And she had responded, well, if I worked with my husband, I'd probably kill him. We would not be married. We'd be divorced by now. I can only take him in small doses. And I've never, ever felt that way about you. Never. And as a matter of fact, if I'm not here, he'll call me, are you coming in? Or if he has a meeting outside, I'll call him and tell him I miss him, or tell him what I had for lunch, and vice versa. So to me, it's not even a second thought. I just wouldn't be able to imagine not working with him.
So, oh my God, wow. So no way interrupt. Now, I don't know, but now, is there anything that you all ever don't see eye to eye on? Did that ever happen? So I'm gonna start with you, then of course, Mr. Serna, I'll ask you as well.
Of course, we always have discussions, right? And something that I'm always telling him, he likes to please everybody. He's a people pleaser, and he doesn't know how to say no. So that's probably my biggest beef with him, is that he says yes to everything. So we have a friend of ours that actually would call him every day, and in a different language would show him how to say the word no, N-O.
Oh man, that's pretty cool. Well, what about you, man? I mean, so it sounds like a pretty positive person then, at least. So what about, is there anything that you always look and say, oh my God, this is something that we just argue about or something, or do you have any of those?
She's always like, we're doing this and we're doing this, or we're going to be here, or we're going to be here. And sometimes I just want to spend time with her, just all by ourselves, because we give so much. We never take the time to be with each other, but we always find a way, right? We always find a way to make sure that we're always together.
Yeah, well, so I mean, well, let's talk about some of the rewards and things now. So, I mean, you guys mind maybe showing me around the office some and seeing some of the fruits of the labor?
Sure. Come with us. So here we have some awards that I've received for doing community presentations. We do a lot of meetings for carriers during open enrollment, and I've been pretty successful with my meetings, and I always usually get awards for my public speaking. And then here I have another award for top agent. I was top 5. And also have another one here for this is an appreciation of all that I've done. So these are my proud awards that I've achieved throughout my years.
One of our greatest accomplishments that we've been able to do here at the agency is to receive the Legacy Award. This is the top award presented to the top carrier, which is Optum, for our agency, recognizing the work that we have done. This is something that people call me or they go by, they tell me I'm the man, the myth, the legend. But yep, all the awards are great. I mean, we're very appreciative. We work really hard for them. But our greatest achievement is our girls or our family. That is the greatest thing that we've been able to accomplish, and to provide them everything they need to be successful.
Man, and thank you guys so much, Mr. and Mrs Serna, for just allowing us to, learn a little bit about you guys and, share some of your world. Thank you for the candidness and just the openness, and we really appreciate the time. Thank you guys so much for letting us sit with a phenomenal couple.
We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
This is the way. Ah, yes. This is the way. Ah, yes. And I have spoken today. Ah, yes. This is the way. Ah, yes. This is the way.